Good morning, Malta and Gozo, and welcome to another edition of Lovin Daily. I'm Tim Diacono, joined today by Paula Kauki, and today we'll be having a very special guest, Peter Gatt, geologist Peter Gatt, to discuss his recent sacking as a lecturer from MCOS, which he's describing as vindictive. So stick around for the end of the show for this interview with Peter Gatt. And these are the stories we're going to be talking about today. The finance minister has warned that Malta will be shoved out of EU discussions if it opposes plans for a global corporate tax deal. The head of a teachers' union is comparing mandatory swaps for unvaccinated people as Nazism, the way the Nazis treated the Jews. Melvin Thoma has said he was asked to find a horse vet to treat a robber who was shot in the 2010 HSBC heist. Republica has accused the police commissioner of deliberate action in high-profile corruption cases, and a construction worker was filmed dangling from the hook of a Birkirkara crane, raising safety concerns. Paula, let's get into it.
L-ewwel storja il-bira waqt konferenza ta' Finance Malta, Ministru tal-Finanzi Clyde Caruana tal-aħbar li mill-lider waqt diskussjonijiet Ewropej qed issir ċara ħafna li l-Istati membri li min mhux biħsiebu li jaqbel ma' Global Tax Deal Plan għal kumpaniji l-kbar jistgħu joħorġu barra mill-Kamra. Jidher li din diskussjonijiet huma dwar kumpaniji kbar illi qed issir il-proposta li jiġu ntaxxati 15%. Ovvjament ma jaqbel l-ebda pajjiż illi jintalab joħroġ il-barra mill-Kamra, ovvjament mbagħad ma jkollux sej fid-diskussjonijiet u għalhekk jidher li dak huwa l-pjan tal-Ministru tal-Finanzi li hu flimkien ma' stati membri żgħar jingħaqdu sabiex ikunu jistgħu jinnegozjaw pożizzjoni għal stati membri żgħar bħalna li ovvjament m'għandniex kumpaniji multimiljonarji bħal pajjiżi oħra.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about Malta's grey listing, but this could actually be potentially even more serious and devastating for the financial services sector. The devil is obviously in the detail and would depend on the threshold of income for the companies, but it is something that Malta should take extremely seriously, and it is good to see the finance minister not shying away from it or trying to to just shove it to the future, but actually tackle this head on. Moving on, Graham Sansone, executive head of the Union of Professional Educators, has really come out extremely strongly, you don't agree with this already, against companies who force their unvaccinated staff to get tested for COVID-19 every week, and if the test is during their work hours, it will come out of the vacation leave. He's comparing he's comparing it to the way the Nazis had forced the Jews to wear the Star of David before the Holocaust, and as a way to mark them out and identify them from the rest of them. I mean, it's when you bring in Hitler in an argument, it happens.
Le, fil-fatt ħafna nies nieku bih li bħala l-lem għandu jkun jaf eżatt l-istorja kif ġrat, għaliex li kieku jaf l-istorja kif ġrat ma kienx juża dan il-paragun. Din hija l-ekwivalenti ta' meta bniedem jinnaf jieħu photoshop tarwin jitfaħħa fuq il-magazines biex jiġbed l-attenzjoni, għalhekk sar dal-paragun estremista min-naħa ta' din il-Unjoni. Ifhimni, mitfema ma jidirlix hemm xi ħaġa ħażina li jekk inti bniedem mhux ivvaċċinat qed titolbu jiswobja aktar, ovvjament tissalvagwardja. Hemm ħafna setturi li qabel il-vaċċin kellhom jiswobja kull ġimgħa, issa għandna l-vaċċin b'xejn tista' literalment tmur iż-Żejtun illum, tmur Gateway, tmur l-Aurora Għawdex u titlaqqam. M'għandek l-ebda skuża li m'għandekx tieħu il-vaċċin. Il-vaċċin huwa l-unika mod s'issa kif nistgħu nipprevjenu li jerġgħu jingħalqu kumpaniji u setturi sħaħ ħabba l-COVID.
But do you think there's an issue that the unvaccinated people will be singled out as being unvaccinated? Their management will know who they are, their staff will know who they are, and they will be isolated as a result?
Żgur li m'aħniex qed nistennew illi għax ħajswobja darba fil-ġimgħa dak li jkun bekk ħajsiru jafu l-kollegi tiegħu li ma tlaqmux. Ġifieri tkun altru ma taħmilx il-kollega ta' maġembek biex f'dax-xhur kollha ma saqsejtux jew ma rajtux jqalx li ħajjoħu l-vaċċin. Ġifieri di żgur mhix miżura li is going to single out people għax probabbli fil-kumpanija stess diġà ħajkunu jafu min m'għandux vaċċin bħal m'għandek kull dritt li min ma ħax il-vaċċin ġielu jibqa' bil-maskra biex ma tħossux safe miegħek. Jiġifieri issa n-nies li huma vvaċċinati għandhom kull dritt li kif qegħdin joqomsu n-nies li mhumiex ivvaċċinati qegħdin joqomsu n-nies li vvaċċinati li smaħna minn l-parti tagħna li sintom tagħmlu tagħkom. Bekk jiena ma rajt xejn ħażin mill-APS il-metod li ħarġu bil-policies tagħhom. Ġifieri come on, issa jew ħanelbu l-pandemija jew ħanibqgħu 20 sena imweħlin nagħmlu l-lockdowns u x'nafina. Imma insomma, żgur suġġett sensittiv bħalissa kull fażi tal-COVID kellha kontroversja tagħha ma din hija kontroversja ta' bħalissa issa naraw nelbuhiex. Naddu għall-istorja li jmiss il-bieraħ Melvin Teuma intalab sabiex jixed fil-kumpilazzjoni tas-serqa tal-HSBC illi kienet bdiet fl-2010 dil-kumpilazzjoni reġgħet infetħet biex ikun jista' jixed Melvin Teuma, però Melvin Teuma qal illi hu ma jaf xejn dwar l-involviment ta' Bill Muscat f'din is-serqa qal biss illi kien mitlub illi jsib veterinarju ta' żwiemel sabiex ikun jista' jdewwi ġrieħi illi kellu f'saqajh Darren De Bono li huwa wkoll implikat f'din is-serqa wara li kienu li sparawlu fl-istess serqa.
Yeah, I mean, this has been going on since 2010. I remember it happening when I was a child, and it hasn't even reached jury yet. It's still going on, which is ridiculous, and surely someone in the judiciary needs to take responsibility for this absolutely insane delay. This is one of the major crime that shocked the island back then. Shots were fired, policemen almost got killed, and justice still hasn't been served, which doesn't really then bode well for the cases we're hearing about at the moment, including Jorgen Fennick, Melvin Teuma, and all the others. I hope that we're not still talking about this 10 years, 11 years down the line. Moving on, Republica yesterday organized a press conference / protest in front of the police depot where they're calling on Police Commissioner Angela Gaffa to arrest a list of people, and they didn't just name them, they printed out their faces and stuck them right on the gates of the police depot, so to make it very obvious to the police, like, oi, these are the guys you need to go after. And they were the usual suspects, right? Keith Cambridge, Joseph Muscat, John Dalli, Conrad Mitzi, Silvia Valletta, Rosen Kotaja has now joined the ranks.
Fil-fatt, John Dalli dal-għodu kien front, John Dalli l-ex-Kummissarju Ewropew ħareġ li għal-isma dan il-grupp mhuwiex fuq mill-liġi, ġifieri l-liġi tal-malafama għadha teżisti anke fir-rigward ta' din l-NGO fejn talab li jew Repubblika ser tipprovdi l-provi għaliex qiegħda tqisu bħala bniedem li għandu jiġi investigat mill-pulizija jew għandhom jiskużaw ruhom. Għandu raġun.
Mhux se jiskużaw ruhom.
Le, mhux ħajskużaw ruhom, u żgur mhux ħajskużaw ruhom. Imma issa naraw John Dalli u wiex ħajħu passi ta' libel kontrihom.
It's often good point, but I highly doubt it. Kun interessanti, but I don't think Republica will mind that much, though, to be honest. I have a chance to bring him back onto the stage, right?
Ma dejja xej donnu dal-impjegat illi tal-kostruzzjoni l-biera fit-triq il-Knisja l-qadima f'Birkirkara rajnieh jiddendel mal-krejn. Qegħdin naraw ir-ritratt, letteralment jiddendel qisna qegħdin il-bandli tiftakarhom dawk il-hoops konna nabżu minn waħda l-oħra, min kien kapaċi, qatt ma kont kapaċi, letteralment imdendel. Guys, qegħdin nistiednu traċedji bidejna, dawn huma ġennati ta'.
Yep, absolutely. This is being investigated, but yeah, I mean, the fact that someone just thought it was fine, to just dangle literally from a crane like that. I mean, I don't know if he was, had a test for danger, but yeah, no, it's not, absolutely not on. And that's it from us today. Make sure you stick around. In a short while, we'll be interviewing Peter Gatt, geologist Peter Gatt, about his recent sacking from MCOS as a lecturer, which he is saying was vindictive, and the way to get back at him for criticizing the content of a new syllabus. So stick around for the interview coming up shortly.
In Malta, we don't say
Welcome back to Lovin Daily. With me now is Peter Gatt, a renowned geologist and a lecturer at MCOST. Hi Peter, thank you very much for accepting our request to be on Lovin Daily today.
Thank you for the invitation.
So, Peter, there was a pretty shocking news item recently, which said that you were fired from your teaching position at MCOST. You taught engineering at the engineering department. The reason being was that you criticized the new syllabus of the engineering department. You thought there were some problems with it, and they responded by showing you the door.
Yes. What happened is that MCAS decided in the past few months that I'm no longer needed as a lecturer over there. Now, I lecture in the Institute of Engineering and Transport within the Department of Building and Construction. I'm the most qualified person within that department, the only one with a PhD and with publications, and I lecture in subjects which are related to my profession. In other words, engineering geology, building materials, limestone studies. So you really need a geologist in this case. However, MCAST has argued that they do no longer need my services, which is quite shocking actually, because I've been there since 2014, so about 7 years lecturing, a very good lecturer over there, doing my work. But why have they come up with this excuse? Firstly, this pretext was completely turned down by court yesterday. The Primaula, the first court in our courts, completely agreed with me and upheld the prohibitory injunction that I had made, and the judge ruled in my favor. However, the whole issue started about a year ago. Just before the second semester of last year, I was given a new unit without any consultation, just a week before the beginning of the semester, and obviously that comes with a new syllabus. When I looked at the syllabus, I found that the syllabus is very poorly written, confusing, no focus. Parts of it were even unrelated to the title of the syllabus, and there were also errors.
Which syllabus was this?
This was a syllabus on building materials.
Okay,
so this is a subject I've been teaching for a long time. So I asked my director and the deputy principal in science and technology, who has no qualifications in either science or engineering, by the way, I asked them, look, I want to revise the syllabus to make it a workable syllabus, to make it a correct syllabus so that I can work, so that I can carry out my work with my students. Surprisingly, they refused my offer to revise this syllabus for free. It was totally refused, creating problems for me, obviously, because how can you work, how can you carry out a unit when the syllabus doesn't make really much sense? Obviously, this also impinges on my academic freedom. This is also an issue of academic freedom, which does not only concerns MCAS, it concerns all the institutions of higher education in Malta and in Europe. Because I think this is the first time that someone has been brought, or charges of a disciplinary nature have been brought in the case of an academic issue. This is not a criminal case. I'm not a criminal. I've simply tried to improve a very poorly written syllabus.
You said there were errors in the syllabus.
Yes.
As in, what you were talking about, errors, is it errors of opinion, or just literally factual errors?
No. It's more than just errors. I mean, we are part of the European Union. We use European Union standards and directives. And strangely enough, in this syllabus, there were classifications and standards which are American, which cannot be used in Malta. We use European standards. I mean, how can I end up teaching my students American standards when they are supposed to be using European standards in Malta? So these are more than just an error. It's quite clearly that whoever wrote this syllabus has no idea really what he was writing. In fact, we did discover throughout the disciplinary process that the person who wrote the syllabus is not even a lecturer. He's not an academic. He never lectured. So we have a situation here where MCAST, the management of MCAST, are commissioning persons who we don't even know about, who are not qualified to write these syllabi. This is a problem which has been going on for a number of years. So my case is really the tip of the iceberg. There are many syllabi which are of a poor quality. My colleagues have also commented on this. I would say all the syllabi I've been given by AMCAST had to be revised in the past. I had to revise them. So rather than allowing me to revise the syllabus, they actually took disciplinary action against me. Now, why is this happening? Well, I believe there is a racket behind this. As I said, the syllabi writers are being paid. So we have the administration of AMCAST who are commissioning people who may not be qualified to write this syllabi, paying them, in some cases considerable sums, from what I've heard, and obviously coming up with very poor quality syllabi, which are then imposed on us. And apparently you cannot, in some way, you cannot try to revise, you're not allowed to revise the syllabi,
So
which is incredible.
So how transparent or not transparent is the process though? So you're mentioning these outsiders coming in to draft the syllabi. Are the list of these people known, kind of people?
Very good question. There is no transparency in this.
So you don't know who actually writes.
In fact, in past years, I had repeatedly asked the management, who is writing my syllabi? And they would refuse to tell us. They would refuse to tell us.
On what grounds?
No grounds, really. Obviously, they're trying to hide something. I mean, that is the only ground I can think of, because they know that the persons that they are commissioning may not be sufficiently qualified. Obviously, the end result of all this is that you have poor quality syllabi and, in the end, poor quality courses. Now, AMCAST has been accused by a number of even professional bodies that the quality of our courses are not up to standard. Well, now we know the reason why, because the syllabi aren't up to standard. Now, rather than investigate this situation, I would say this racket going on, AMCAST decided to issue disciplinary charges against me, which I think is scandalous. I think this requires a serious investigation. If MCAST cannot do this investigation, it should be the government, the Ministry of Education, who should carry out this investigation to see what is really going on here. This is something which doesn't affect me, just myself as a lecturer. This is affecting thousands of students. These students have put their faith in this institution. They expect to have quality education. But how can you have quality education when we do not know who is writing the syllabi in most cases, because there are some cases where the lecturer himself has written the syllabi. I don't think there should be problems there. But I can assure you, in my case, every syllabi has been imposed on me. And I don't know who is the author of these syllabus. Has been imposed on me, and the end result is poor quality. Why are we defrauding our students? We are promising them courses, quality courses, but in the end they are getting much less than that. There are also problems with the issue of warrants as well, in the case of the engineering students and the electrical and mechanical engineering students, who have also been promised that once they finish their course, they will get the warrant. They haven't. Because there are objections, obviously, to this. So this is a wide-ranging problem. This has to be investigated for the sake of our students. I'm happy to say that two judges, the Ombudsman, because I also placed this issue to our Office of the Ombudsman, the Commissioner of Education, who happens to be the Emeritus Chief Justice, has ruled in my favor and has concluded last May that the actions of AMCAST were oppressive and degrading.
The Ombudsman said
yes, the Ombudsman were oppressive and degrading in my case. AMCAST completely ignored his recommendations. Well, now a second judge, which is the court just, has yesterday ruled that the prohibitory injunction is to be upheld. So we have two judges.
Which means you should remain as a lecturer.
Yes, I should remain as a lecturer. So we have two judges who have made a ruling in my favor. Now, we live in a country of the rule of law, where there is the rule of law. Is AMCAST going to follow these judgments? We don't know. Up till now, they haven't.
And finally, just to close this off, do you know of any other lecturers who share your same concerns, but who might, either for whatever reason, might not be speaking out, or are they speaking to you privately and offering and expressing their shock to you? And what's your message to them at this point in time, where you said this is an issue of academic freedom, right?
Yes.
That it concerns you, but also might concern them as well.
Yes. I mean, throughout the years, yes, I've obviously talked to my colleagues, and they have expressed They're concerned at the fact that the syllabi that are being given are of a poor quality. Some cases don't even make sense. However, I did say that the Ombudsman has concluded that the actions of MCAST were oppressive. We do live over there, we do have a situation which is oppressive. Now, in an oppressive environment, people are scared to speak out. Well, I happen to speak out. I was the person who spoke out about this, complained about this, if you want, last year, internally. And they actually issued disciplinary charges against me. So, in an oppressive environment, no, people will not speak out. But that is wrong. We have the rule of law here, we have democracy, we have freedom. We also have academic freedom, something which is found all over Europe and America as well. And why is it that MCAST is acting in a, I would say, irrational manner? What is the scope behind this? There is money being involved as well. That's why I say there should be an investigation going on, because people are being paid. Are these people competent in the fields, the respective fields, and the syllabi that they are writing out? So this is a can of worms which they have opened. I mean, I try to do my best. I try to do my job. I shouldn't end up, in court or in front of a disciplinary committee or board,
Yeah. Peter Gatt, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's not easy, obviously, to fight oppression, especially by an institution, especially when it's employing you and when it's a government body as well. But the country does need people to stand up and make their voices heard when they feel that such oppression is being carried out. So thank you for speaking out, and thank you for accepting this interview on Lovin Daily. That's it from us today. Make sure you follow lovinmalta.com for all the latest developments and stories, and have a day full of loving.